Welcome to the LP Podcast in the USA Prime East Texas studio. Don't forget, like and subscribe.
Welcome to the La Pointer Podcast in the East Texas Prime Baseball Studio. Today we are here with Dylan Ouzts, the hot man on campus he doesn't even go to school to, and my co-host Wyatt Miller, Aaron Cook, and I'm Tate Rogers. Well, Dylan, tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I'm 18 years old. I'm from here. I don't go to school here. I go to school over in Bullard at Brook Hill. I rodeo, ride saddle bronc, team rope, like to have fun.
Yeah. Well, why saddle bronc riding and rodeo in general? Honestly,
so I've been roping for 6 years now, and one morning I woke up and I was like, I want to try something new, and I just decided saddle bronc was what I wanted to try out. I don't know if that was a good idea yet or if it was a bad idea, but we're making it work right now.
Yeah. Was roping how you started off in rodeo, or was it something before that?
Yeah, it was rodeo. I rode like sheep and stuff when I was like real young, and calves here and there, but roping's like really where it started and everything.
Okay, yeah, so you've been around it for most of your life.
Oh, yeah. Being friends with the Almonds and everything, being around Carter, always watching them rope, and then when I was in 6th grade, I was like, well, I want to try it out. So I got a horse and had a bunch of guys help me out and just went from there, and rest is history.
Has it been like an exciting journey?
Oh, yeah.
You had a good time doing it?
Oh, yeah. We've definitely had our bad days. Everyone's going to have them in the rodeo industry. Let's see. I haven't really been to any big rodeos for the team roping. I kind of just started doing it for fun, and then I kind of went competitively with it like the first year or two, and then I kind of backed away when I started riding broncs just to focus on riding broncs and everything. And me and Carter rope every day almost, and that's it really.
Who's your role models in rodeo?
In rodeo, I haven't really been around a lot of like cool guy. There's a lot of cool people in the rodeo industry, but really the biggest role models are my friends. They're always keeping me motivated and helping me out when they can and everything. They're just good people and just fun to be with.
How did you like the college rodeo when you went to College Station a couple weeks ago?
It was pretty cool to see all the colleges come together, and no one was like enemies or anything. They were all friends having fun. Like, yes, they were competing against each other, but they're all still good friends, and just I like the camaraderie down there, them just hanging out and having fun.
And rodeo, there's like a bunch of people in it. Would you say it's kind of a tight-knit community? Everybody knows someone who knows someone.
Really, you're traveling down the road, and you'll see the same people at every single rodeo you go to.
Yeah. Have you like your friends, have they helped you on like your bad days and stuff? Have they helped you
absolutely
keep you going?
Especially mentally. Like there's only so much they can do physically and like help me ride, but mentally, like the pump up speeches and everything before I ride and after I ride, if I do bad, like them picking me back up and just helping me out, getting my head straight. So
yeah.
How do you prepare before a rodeo?
Pray.
Yeah.
That and during the week before the weekend comes around and we're traveling everywhere, just stay on the spur board and practice your fundamentals and everything. A spur board, it's basically like a sawhorse with some boards on the side, and I throw my saddle on top and just practice the motion and everything and stick to the basics, because if you don't know the basics, you ain't gonna know the other.
Yeah, you don't
stuff.
have anything to build off of.
Exactly. So really just stay on the spur board and get the basics down, make it muscle memory and everything.
We asked this question a lot on the last season. Do you have like any kind of niche, like a pregame ritual, basically pre-rodeo ritual?
I feel like I'm still trying to figure that out. I say a prayer every time before I get on. Definitely try to. I know, definitely forgotten sometimes, but definitely try to say a quick little prayer. Really just stretch, do the same stretching routine.
Yeah.
The way I get my saddle ready is the same way every time, but yeah, for the most part, that's it.
Just to establish some consistency.
Exactly.
Get better consistent rides.
Yep.
Like how much? So like, I personally never done too much rodeo, but like, I've heard that like that's probably one of the most like crazy experiences you can have in your life,
Oh,
or
yeah.
like everything like that. Like, and I've heard that sometimes during it feels like everything around's gone. It's only in that moment. The only thing you see there is just you're in that situation.
Exactly. So the first couple horses I've been on, they were like a complete blur. Like, I don't remember anything from it. Like, probably till I've gotten on 50 head of horses, and then everything kind of started to slow down. Still not slow at all. Like, it's still to the point where, like, I'll nod my head, and, like, 3 seconds into the ride, it's still, like, I need to catch back up. And, like, oh, I'm on the back of a horse. And then it'll start to slow down, and I'll feel my rhythm and everything, getting rhythm with the horse. But, yeah, definitely when I started, I had no idea what was going on the whole time. I really just blacked out, and I was just there.
Yeah, going like muscle memory. That's I mean,
Exactly.
like that's kind of part of the thing. You get your basics, you get your muscle memory down. Makes it easier to do that in those real high adrenaline, high stakes moments.
And that's what it's for. I mean, that horse is not going to do the same thing every time.
Yeah.
You can watch this video on this horse 100 times, and that horse will do completely different. And I'm speaking from experience. So that muscle memory, like when that horse does something different that you don't know about, your muscle memory will kick in and be like, oh, I'm supposed to be doing this right now, you know? So
I think I know what it is, but what's your favorite horse to get on?
there's a lot of good ones.
Is it Tater Tot?
Tater Tot's a really good one. I've won a lot on that. Yep, that horse sent me to nationals 2 years ago, I think. And it's just a good bucker. Like, she bucks real good and real nice. It's fun.
So,
Go ahead. Oh, how are you sitting in your region right now?
Region.
And what region are you in?
Well, let me explain the regions because that's confusing to everybody. So there's 10 regions in the state of Texas. They're all split up everywhere. It's kind of like a school district in a way, or like a county. So there's 10 regions. I'm in Region 4, and that's all the way in Graham, Texas, up there close to the Panhandle. There's Region, did I say Region 3 or Region 4?
4.
Region 4 is in Silver Springs, Region 3 is in Graham, and that's what I do. I do Region 3. There's a bunch of other regions scattered everywhere. Region 10's in Hamilton, Texas.
9's in Bryan.
9's in Bryan, yes.
And that's just all decided by like where you
you
ride.
live, basically.
Yeah, okay, where you live.
And Graham, that's 3.5 hours away from here, and the only reason I'm going to Graham is because the horses are a little bit better to get on and easier. They're more like practice horses. Region 4 horses, I did not like those at all. They were just not bucking. They'd buck 1 or 2 jumps, and then they'd run around the pen and everything. And so last year was my first year at Region 3, and I moved over there, one, because I had a bunch of buddies over there, and I knew they could ride good. And my thought process on moving over there was, why not ride with the competition that I'm going to have at state so that I'm used to it and the pressure doesn't build up as much and everything. So I moved over there for the good horses and to be with my buddies and to be riding against who I'd be riding at state.
So do you still do, like, because you focus on bronc riding more nowadays,
Yes.
right? Do you still do any team roping?
Oh, yeah, all the time. Like, after this podcast, I'm going to go back to work, and then after work, I'm going to head over to Carter Allman's house, and we're going to rope. We do it almost every day.
And so when you're team roping, is it just a team of 2 or a team of 4? How does it work?
It's a team of 2.
Team of 2?
You got one for the head and one for the heels.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's like roping cattle and stuff.
Basically, yes, sir.
So
Huh.
you can see it like on your shirt and hat. So are you sponsored by a bunch of people?
Yeah, these are all my sponsors. We got Rock and Roll Denim. That gets all my jeans. Panhandle Western Wear is most of my shirts. Team Cavenders. I mean, y'all all know where Cavenders is.
Yeah.
They're a pretty sweet sponsor. They just give me a bunch of stuff, and the people that I work with there are pretty awesome. R. Watson Boots. Got my boots on. That's pretty sweet. Pretty sponsorship. And Smarty Young Pro. That's like dummies and stuff to practice on, like when you're at the house or everything. And then Athens Tractor just helps with the financial stuff sometimes.
Yeah, that's a really good thing. So kind of going back, I'm just kind of curious about this. Going back to like childhood and stuff. So you've obviously grown up around the culture and stuff.
Yes.
You've been around it for pretty much your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Has there ever been like anybody, like maybe a grandfather or something, that's helped you, like they really pushed you into starting rodeo, like being in those?
Honestly, not really. My neither sides of my family really rodeoed, and so we didn't really know what we were getting into when I decided I wanted to start. Like, my dad, he grew up in Dallas, so he had no idea.
Yeah.
My mom, I guess, kind of grew up around it too, But, I mean, the only person I know in my family that rodeoed is Tate's dad, which is my uncle. But that's it. It was really just kind of they definitely helped me once they started figuring it out. And when I told them I wanted to start bronc riding, they were like, "Oh my goodness!" Like they had no idea. Like my mom thought it was cool until she figured out everything about it, and then I started getting hurt a whole bunch.
Mm-hmm.
With getting hurt, how many injuries have you had, and what's your worst one?
I couldn't tell you how many injuries I've had. Well, honestly, I'm hurt more than I'm injured. There's a difference. Injured, you can't get on the back of a horse. You can't do anything. Hurt's just, ow, I'm hurting.
Just got to push through it.
Yeah, exactly. My worst one, people would think that it was probably, I've broken my back twice. It wasn't like a bad back break. Like I didn't have to have surgery or anything. But when I broke my ankle over this past summer at a rodeo, that was probably the worst one. I don't know what made it hurt so bad, but it was bad.
That's just one of those things, though, like, because you break your ankle, you got to get out of your boots, first of all, and that's just rough to do.
I was lucky enough my boot fell off when it happened.
That's, stroke of luck. And then, like, it's hard to walk and stuff.
Exactly.
And there's not much you can do for it. Like,
not at all.
You can't do really too much.
And so, with breaking my ankle, I had, that was over, like, the 4th of July. There's this thing called that – you call it in the rodeo industry, it's the fourth run, and there's like rodeos every single day during the 4th of July, like through that whole time. And so me and my buddy, we got in the truck and we started hitting up all these rodeos. Well, the first rodeo we go to, I'm pretty sure it was in Bernie, Texas. I had a really strong horse. I knew the horse. I haven't been on it, but I knew of it. And I was excited for it. I was feeling good. I was in a good mood. Everything was about to go good. I nod my head and I open, and this horse is strong. Takes 2 good jumps, and I stay with it pretty well. And then it just sits me up out of my saddle, and I'm just standing up, and I roll my ankle in the stirrup, and then I get sit back down, and then I get sent up again, and then roll it again, and then do a little flip off to the side. And I just remember laying in the arena, and I was like, wow, this hurts the worst out of everything. And so that's definitely going to have to be the injury that hurts the worst.
So in bronc riding, you're just showing up. You're not bringing like a horse or anything. You just show up. What's like turnaround time? So you get there, like say something like on the 4th of July, stuff like that. Rodeos happen every day. What's turnaround time for that? Like you get there, you ride, and then you go. Like how long do you think that takes?
So
turnaround time.
There's a bunch of guys that may go to the rodeo on the same night if the schedule works, and if there's a later start time at the second rodeo or anything. I'm usually a 1 rodeo a day kind of guy.
Yeah.
But I mean, we would go to 1 rodeo, get our rides done, get packed up, get in the truck, and then head to wherever we were heading next, and then just hang out for the day until it was time for the rodeo to start.
Yeah.
And if it was pretty far away, we'd just pray that we'd make it there in time. But, I mean, if it's like the first rodeo, I like to get there an hour early, get my saddle set up and everything, because that's the only thing I'm bringing to the rodeo is my saddle and my chaps and my vest and all that stuff. And so, yeah, really, most people only go to 1 rodeo a day. But
have you ever showed up to a rodeo like 20 minutes before you ride or something, like right before you were supposed to ride?
Well, I've been pretty good at getting there on time, but there's some times that there's not enough riders that they'll because saddle bronc riding's in the middle of the rodeo.
Yeah.
And there wasn't enough riders, and so they were like, well, we'll just move you up to the first event. Well, I got there kind of a little late. Like I said, I like to get there an hour early, but I was like 20 minutes early for the rodeo start. Let's say a rodeo starts at 7, I was there at 6:40. And then I found out that they were bucking saddle bronc horses with the bareback horses, and so I mean that's really the only time that we get rushed.
Yeah.
That's when they say that.
What's some awards your most valued awards? Or
Probably my most valued reward was probably my first buckle I won. I won it in the team rope, and it was at the
Cowboy Church.
Yeah, the
right
Cowboy
up there.
Church right up the road. Yeah. I was like 12 years old. No, I wasn't. I was probably too young.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was in like 6th or 7th grade. It was my first ever buckle. It was me and Shankane Wiggins. We were out first time ever heeling, because I'm a header. Well, now I'm a heeler, but I was just a header, and it was my first time ever roping. Our time was like a 56.3 or something. It was terrible, but we were the only team in the team roping, so all we had to do was rope it, and we did 56 seconds later. So,
What do you think's like your favorite rodeo memory? You know, like out of all your things, like favorite horse to ride or like favorite experience, favorite time hanging out with your friends, just something like that, just favorite memory.
I'm going to have to say just hanging out with my buddies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have good memories all the time. I couldn't necessarily name one, but probably when we went to Gillette, Wyoming. That was my first year at Nationals, and I had no idea what was about to happen. Like, walking into the arena, and that was the most people I've ever rodeoed in front of. It was just awesome, the atmosphere.
And you like ride around, like you're going all over the country for these events, right?
Yeah. I mean, really, the farthest we've gone is Wyoming. That's still pretty far up there.
I mean, that's a good ways up,
Yeah.
way on the north border.
I mean, some people are driving from Florida, like South Florida, all the way to Wyoming.
Wow.
Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by Osmosis Nail and Spa in Athens, Texas. Are you ready to hear about this, honey?
Yes, girl.
Trying to get my nails done after hearing about this.
Mm-hmm.
Ready to relax, rejuvenate, and refresh your look? Osmosis Nail Salon is here to make it happen. With a full range of professional nail and waxing services,
Okay.
you'll experience top-tier pampering from their experienced and friendly staff who prioritize your comfort and your looks.
As it should.
I meant style. Step into a world full of relaxation
Okay.
and leave feeling your best.
yeah.
Book your appointment today by calling 903-288-2647. 903-288-2647. Osmosis Nail Salon in Athens, Texas.
And we're back.
All right. So what was your favorite horse, like, that you feel like will always be in your memory?
Definitely the one that Tate said, Tater Tot. Just that was a fun horse. I mean, and it was my first year going to Nationals, and it sent me there. And so, I mean, as of now, that's my favorite horse right now.
Yeah.
What's some of the coolest places you've been?
I mean, really just driving down the road to the next rodeo and seeing some cool stuff, you know. Probably, I mean, I'm going to have to say Wyoming because it's just so pretty up there and everything. And first year at Nationals was in Gillette, and we went cliff jumping up there one of our days off because we're up there for a full week, and we went cliff jumping, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah. What's some stuff you do out of rodeo?
Not a whole lot. I feel like my life kind of revolves around rodeo. I mean, I feel like if I'm not rodeoing or practicing or something, I'm trying to go to work or school. During the summer, if I'm not rodeoing, like the first 2 weeks of summer, I try to stay back from rodeo and kind of relax a little bit because we've been going all year and everything.
Yeah.
So I'll go to the lake and hang out with my friends or something.
And it's really an all year round
Oh, yeah.
sport. You don't really get in breaks.
Not really. There's not a season necessarily. I mean, there's seasons for like certain associations and everything, but there's always an association or always
That's
a rodeo going on.
Yeah. What's a big misconception about rodeo?
Probably has to be in the bull riding or anything really, like that the animals are tortured, or in the calf roping, the way the calves turn, like when you rope it and everything, like it really ain't that big of a deal for them. Like they're tough animals. Like, yeah, there's rules to keep it. Like we have our rules to keep it safe for the animal and the rider and everything. And I mean, rodeo's not a dangerous sport unless you make it a dangerous sport.
Yeah.
But it is. Well, I can't say that because rodeo is pretty dangerous. I mean,
Wouldn't be as bad as something like bullfighting or something.
yeah, I guess so. Like, I mean, obviously it is dangerous because I've gotten hurt doing it and stuff.
Yeah, there's always a risk, but as long as you're
Oh, yeah.
careful, it keeps it to a minimum.
I guess that's the word, risk. I mean, it's not dangerous, but it is very riskful doing it.
Yeah, and that's how it is with most things.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of backtracking just a little bit on your saying it goes all year round. Do you ever experience any burnout or anything from just constantly going?
Honestly, not really. Just because I'm having so much fun on the road and
Yeah, I
everything.
just love it so much.
Yeah. It is nice to come home and sleep in your own bed for once, but I mean, a couple of days later, I'm ready to get back at it.
Yeah.
Who's some of the coolest people you've met through your rodeo career?
I met a lot of the older pro guys that have seen a lot and been to the finals a lot. Cody DeMoss, he's a pretty cool dude. I met him at Stay Smith's at their Thanksgiving bucking school, and he's just a cool dude. He helped me a lot those 3 days that we were there, and he's just a pretty cool dude to be around and listen to and learn from. When we went to Vegas, we saw a lot of the pros. I mean, tried to talk to some of them, but they were real busy running around, going to autograph signings and everything, and just their sponsorship stuff. So I've met a lot of them. I couldn't really name one that was the coolest, but.
So you probably do like a lot of interviews, like you get some decent media attention, right?
Well, with the whole Team Caverners thing, they do a really good job at doing interviews and all their media stuff. And so, yes, I've done quite a few interviews with them. I did a photo shoot for them one day, gone into the Cavener store in Tyler and shot a video and stuff. And then we had a specific media day for the whole Team Caverners to come. It was at the beginning of the year. Well, no, it was the end of summer last year. They had all the Team Caverners, like the new members, come in and do a media day and a photo shoot and everything. And really, Caverners is the only one I've done a photo shoot with.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at with like sponsors and stuff. Like, how do you get sponsors? Do they reach out to you or?
Most of the time, if like the really big sponsors, you can apply for a sponsorship, which that's what the Smarty one came from. And then I think I applied for Rock and Roll Denim too, and then but I did apply for Caverners too, but I was also what's it called? One of my buddies was on Team Caverners the year before me, and he referred referral. I got referred to him, and so they accepted it. But yeah, when you turn pro, it's all like they come reach out to you. Yeah. In the high school, like you can sign up for it or whatever, apply for it.
So is it like, how would you say that you make it big in rodeo? Do you just like do constantly good, or is there like any secret to have success that you know of?
You really just have to ride good. I mean, that's all there is to it. You got to put in the work and the practice, and then start going to all these rodeos and doing good. And so the pro rodeo stuff's based all on money. It's not really about points or anything like the high school stuff is. So the more money you make, the better you do at the end of the year. Yeah.
How would you, like, say there is some kids out there that wanted to get into rodeo? How would you just tell them to do it?
Oh, it's tough. I actually get this question asked more than like a lot, and I don't know what to tell them really. I mean, if they ask to become a bareback rider, if I know them personally and they ask like, oh, I might want to be a bareback. No, you don't, because it'll just beat you up, and you got to have the heart for it.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the heart for it and you just want to do it for fun, I'd tell them don't do it, honestly, because you're going to get yourself hurt or get somebody else hurt. But somebody who really does have the heart for it and they want to get into it, just start doing your research and then show up to these places. Like they practice at the church, bull riding and team roping, like every other Tuesday. So just show up there and then start talking to people. Like, get around it.
Got to get connections.
Exactly. That's all rodeo is, really, connections. That's why everyone's friends.
Yeah.
Like you just start talking to people.
Can you kind of break down the sport of saddle bronc? Like, what do you have to do to get a higher score than?
Yeah. So it's kind of like the bull riding. I mean, that's what most people know. Like, you ask anybody about rodeo, one thing they're going to say, like someone who's never been around it, is talk about the bull riding. They want to. I get asked all the time if I'm a bull rider. No, I'm not a bull rider. I'm a bronc rider. So the difference is, well, there's 3 rough stock events. Well, 4 if you count ranch bronc riding. But you have your bareback riding, which that's the first event of the rodeo. Your saddle bronc riding, that's kind of in the middle. And your bull riding is like the last event. So the difference between saddle bronc from bareback riding, we have like a special saddle made. It's different than your regular riding saddle. It doesn't have a saddle horn on it. It's kind of more like sit back, like, because when you're in a regular saddle, you kind of sit up straight.
Yeah.
But in a saddle bronc saddle, you're kind of sit back more so that you can really like lay out and throw your feet to the front. So the point system is just like the bull riding. 50 points for the rider, 50 points for the bull, and usually there's 3 or 4 judges in the arena that'll count that up, add it up, and then divide and subtract whatever. They add it up to the max you can get to 100 points. Don't ever think there's been a 100-point ride. There might have been
One bull rider.
one
that's
bull
it.
rider. I think yeah. But a 90-point ride's very good. That's 45 points for the bull, 45 points for the rider if they do the math like that. An 80-point ride's your average good ride at a rodeo. Like 90-point ride, that's really good.
Yeah.
80-point ride, that's still pretty good, but not as good as 90. High school rodeo, you'll barely touch the 80s just because, I mean,
Stock isn't as competitive.
yeah. It has a lot to do with the horses. So we stick around kind of the 70s most of the time. Saddle bronc riding, I have a rein. It's different than your just your bridle and all that. It's like mine looks like a bunch of hay string all bailed up together, and kind of it's real long. Mine's probably about 5 foot, and it's attached to the halter of the horse. And you only hold it with one hand because your free hand's got to be up, and you just pray when you open the chute. You got to get your mark out, and your mark out is when you hold your feet at the horse's shoulders for 2 jumps. You got to hold them up there, and it's kind of like letting that horse have a head start, but it also helps you stay in timing because that horse will basically move your feet for him. So when you get your mark out and you hold them, 2 jumps out, and then that horse will kind of like throw your feet back just the way he bucks. And then as soon as he throws your feet back, you got to beat him back down to the front. So throw your feet back forward and everything. And the more you move your feet, the bigger your score will be.
That's pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of it comes down to like your horse and your judge, just what they
Exactly.
think. Have you ever been robbed? You felt like you've been robbed, like you've had a horse that doesn't perform as well as you think it would, or a judge that you think scored you wrong?
Oh, there's always horses that don't perform well. Like, I mean, and it's nobody's fault. You can't do anything about it. I mean, I've had pretty good horses that I've seen this horse buck like really good, and I'm excited for it, and then it just ends up running around the arena.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm in a queen parade. But other than that, like, you can't do anything about the horse. You just got to hope for the best that your horse does its job, and so you can do yours. So, I mean, a horse that you might think that, oh, I want a horse that runs around the pen. No, you don't. Because, one, your score is going to be really bad, and it's a whole lot harder to ride in the type of saddle that I have than
Just
a regular saddle.
yeah.
And so it's just really uncomfortable. You can't get in timing on anything. So you really want a good bucking horse.
What's the biggest rodeo you've gone to so far?
Probably nationals. Like I said earlier, like that was just the most people I've ever been in front of. The atmosphere was pretty awesome. People from all over the world were there. Like I met a bunch of kids from Mexico, a bunch of kids from Australia. It was just really cool being there.
Do you plan on going pro or college?
So every kid's dream growing up is to go pro straight out of high school. I mean, because who wouldn't want to do that, making all that type of money and just traveling the world like that? But I kind of came to my senses and realized I should probably go college rodeo because, one, I'm not where I need to be right now. Like riding wise, I'm just not good enough to go pro yet, and so I'm hoping that going to college and finding the right college that'll really help me with my bronc riding will get me to the point where when I graduate college that I can go pro rodeo and everything.
Would you say like in colleges and stuff, so do they have scholarships for bronc riding and bull riding?
So the scholarships for college rodeo is just like if it were for baseball or football. The thing is the rodeo programs at most schools aren't very big at the colleges, and so they kind of get what's left over from the other sports.
Yeah.
At least for some schools. And but yeah, they're giving out just like they would football or everything. And one thing that I learned is the school doesn't really give to the rodeo like fun because we're making our own. We can still make money in college rodeoing. So like we go to rodeo, we win, we get money. Now, like the rules, the NCAA rules or whatever they're called, I don't really know, but like you couldn't do that for a football game or anything. So that the school doesn't really provide the funds. Exactly.
Yeah.
If you do go pro, what's one rodeo you're looking forward to?
Cheyenne.
It's a big one.
But actually, I might be able to ride in Cheyenne this year because they have this thing called the rookie broncs, and I don't know if y'all have ever seen it. I would definitely go try to watch a video, but I've seen it in person. It is the coolest thing ever. Basically, they're almost letting every horse out and every rider at the same time, and it is just chaos. And it looks, it might not look fun for some people because they're colts. Those horses are real young. They don't really know how to buck yet. They're really wild, and they just go crazy. And it just looks like so much fun. Being able to ride in Cheyenne at such a young age would be really awesome.
So, you're saying you're not exactly where you be, like, in your riding, but where would you want to be, like, from the beginning of summer to, like, the end of summer for, like, the beginning of year to this year? Like, what goal do you have, or what do you want to see in yourself for you to accomplish throughout this year and the summer?
Well, mentally and I guess a little physically, I want to stay consistent, just riding almost every horse I get on, because that'd be pretty nice. I mean, bucking off kind of sucks. Like, doesn't feel too great, but this is my last year of high school rodeo since I'm a senior. We got state this year and we got nationals. A state championship would be pretty awesome. That's the main thing I'm working for right now. And nationals, doing good in nationals would be good. I haven't done good at nationals the past 2 years I went. I think I've just been in my head. And like I was talking about earlier, my broke ankle. That was 2 weeks after I broke my ankle was when I was in nationals. So I was riding with the broke ankle. Like, I couldn't miss that rodeo, and I wasn't gonna miss that rodeo. So I showed up with a broke ankle and got bucked off. Pretty hard too, but I had fun while I was up there. At least tried to. I was still in a lot of pain, but it was whatever. Just got to put that to the side and have fun. But yeah, definitely the state championship this year. That's at the top of my goals right now. But really, just riding consistent. That would be. I might rather ride consistent than win state. Like, if I have like 80-point rides every time I go out and ride this summer, that would be pretty dang awesome.
Yeah, and like winning state, I'm not sure if it works the same way. I'd assume it does, like in basketball and stuff. You win state, I mean, it's pretty big news. Colleges will notice you and stuff, makes it easier to get scholarships.
Exactly.
And apply, get entered into it. Does it work the same way for rodeo?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like, colleges, like, most of them have already, like, kind of found the kids they want. And if they don't know about a kid, state or nationals is where they find out about a kid, you know, because they can't just go like a baseball game and college recruiters go to a game and they're watching these kids. Like, you got to travel around to find people, and some kids don't have a good rodeo, and I've had not good rodeos a bunch of times, and it would kind of suck if a college coach showed up to watch this rodeo and I bucked off, and I'm like, Coach, I promise I can ride better than this, you know. But yeah, it works in the same in some senses, but in others it doesn't. But state and nationals, like, they have a college convention at nationals where all the coaches come up there, and like, you can walk around tables and talk to them and everything.
That's really cool.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah. Had a question. Can't think of it.
Oh, is there like any specific college you want to go to?
Well, it'd be pretty awesome. My dad went to Tarleton, so rodeoing for Tarleton would be pretty sweet. A&M has a pretty sweet rodeo team. Sam Houston has the nicest rodeo facility I've ever seen. It's new, it's nice, and I mean, if I got a scholarship there, I'd definitely go. But then again, I want to go to a smaller school so that me and the coach could have like one-on-one time, you know, and like practice on the spur board. And those bigger schools, they got like 70 kids on the team, and it's hard for a coach to make it to every 70 kids during the week and work with them and everything. And so going to like a smaller 2-year school where there's only like 20 or 30 kids on the team, the coach can help you out, or he knows someone that can help you out. And like, you start building a relationship with the coach and everything, and then you start meeting other people. And that's the thing with relationships, like we were talking about earlier, just meeting one person and then meeting another, and then just keeps going down the line.
Yeah. And how does that kind of work, like the training aspect of it? With that many kids, do y'all like train in groups, or how does that kind of work?
Well, in the sport I do, which is saddle bronc riding, there's not a whole lot of kids out there that do it right now. And really any of the rough stock events, like everybody except the bull riding, which everybody wants to be a bull rider. But bareback riders, there's barely any of them. It's starting to pick up. Like, there's starting to be more kids that do it, and especially in the saddle bronc riding, it's starting to pick up. But really at each school in Texas, that is, because I noticed at the college rodeo I went to a couple of weeks ago that there's really only no more than 5 bronc riders from every school. And so you kind of stay in your small groups, I guess, at practice, and you just all work together. And if you see something that your buddy's doing, you're like, that's not right. Y'all can talk about it and then go ask the coach, like, hey, this doesn't look right. And I don't know, you just help each other out the best you can.
Do you have a rodeo team at your school, or you just go out single and?
I've heard of a couple. I don't remember where they're at, but not a whole lot of high schools do high school rodeo anymore. High school rodeo has changed a lot, and high school rodeo is on your own now. So you're traveling on your own with everything. You don't have a team behind you or anything. So,
did we used to have one?
No, we just have it in arena.
Yeah, I was going to say, I knew we had a couple kids that went to like Trinity Valley.
Yeah.
Went to their rodeo team, but
yeah, I think maybe actually back in the day, there was a rodeo team here.
Yeah.
And a bunch of the other schools around here, too, that, like, are probably in y'all's division right now for, like, baseball and basketball. I'm sure they might have had some kind of rodeo team or something.
yeah. I mean, we still got our rodeo arena out there.
Exactly.
It's used once a year.
Yeah. Yep, that's always a fun rodeo, too. I enjoy that one.
Yeah, it is pretty fun.
Basically, like, I know almost every single person at this rodeo, and that's always a fun rodeo when you know everybody, just because you can go up and talk to whoever and hang out with whoever.
Yeah. Has there been other people that have had to learn with your journey? Like
learn from my mistakes?
Yeah. Or just learn with you so they know how to do it too if they ever need to help you?
Oh, yeah. My dad, he's number one. Like I said earlier, my dad had no idea what I was getting into or what he was getting into, but he's came a long way, and he's probably, like, what did we talk about earlier, like, people we look up to?
Yeah.
Well, y'all ask for people we look up to in the rodeo industry. I look up to my dad, and he's not in the rodeo industry because he may not know what he's talking about, but he can keep me motivated and tell me to go work and practice and everything. And but yeah, my dad, I guess he wanted to start learning, and if he didn't, he put on a face that he did want to start learning about everything. And so I got my regular old saddle horse, and I got my saddle Bronc saddle, and I taught him how to put the saddle on like we would at a rodeo and everything. And I don't know there's been a couple rodeos he hadn't made it to, but he's gone to most of them. But, I mean, here in this next year, I'm going to have to find somebody else, like another traveling partner.
Yeah. You go to all these rodeos, but how do you find them?
My phone. There's an app. There's a bunch of, like, it's literally like, I don't know what to describe it as or compare it to, but I get on my phone, I go to this app, it's called Next Gen, and it has rodeos listed all over, really just Texas and Oklahoma, because I guess I put in where I live, and there's rodeos near me. And you can go in there and you can find the rodeo, you can enter on the app. I mean, Facebook, flyers, everything, like, you just hear about them, and then you're like, all right, I'm going to look it up and then enter it.
And you see, like, in rodeo, because near is kind of subjective. Like, near for a rodeo, maybe 3 hours
Exactly,
or something.
yeah. Like, a close rodeo for me, because there's really not a whole bunch of rodeo. Like, there's Palestine. They do a couple rodeos in Palestine a year. Athens, all they have is the
Henderson
team
County.
opens and stuff, but never, like, a full-on rodeo. Palestine, Corsicana, and those are both an hour away almost.
Yeah.
Corsicana ain't that far, Palestine ain't that far. Corsicana is, but yeah, close rodeos about around 3 hour mark.
Yeah. What's the latest you've been on the road going to a next rodeo?
On the way to Wyoming, I know I keep bringing up Wyoming, but I mean, we that's like a 17.5-hour drive, and we did it in a day. We didn't stop we stopped for gas, but like we didn't stop and sleep or anything. We got to me and my dad kind of split it up in halves. I definitely drove a little more than he did. We got to like the tip of Wyoming, and Rock Springs, Wyoming is another 3 hours into Wyoming, and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and we were so close, and I'm like, let me go in the gas station, wash my face, grab a Red Bull, and hit the road again. So I did that, and by the time we were pulling into Rock Springs, Wyoming, like the cars that were passing were blurry. I could barely hold my eyes open, but it was like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning when we got to the rodeo.
Wow.
Definitely slept the whole day that day.
It's like so. I'm trying to think of a question.
Just shoot. Give me one.
All right.
It don't even have to be about rodeo.
What's your favorite T-shirt on the T-shirt wall?
No. Yep.
If I was a Cowboys fan, that would be it. That one's pretty funny. I don't really watch sports that much. I see a Metallica T-shirt up there somewhere. Yeah, I like the Metallica T-shirt. I saw it earlier. Riding Bulls and Punching Fools. Is that your old T-shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured. I had that shirt one time. Yeah, I like the Metallica T-shirt. Oh,
Yeah.
the Kiss T-shirt's pretty cool too.
Give me some ideas. What's your favorite band, would you say? What kind of genre?
Favorite band? I listen to a lot of rap music. I don't know. It just gets me pumped up, and I'm always, I don't know, for some reason, like especially if I go to a rodeo, I want to jam
Yeah.
out for a little bit and get pumped up. I started listening to a bunch of rock music a couple months ago. I mean, country music's always there. I love good country music. I don't really necessarily have a favorite band.
Yeah.
I mean,
What about a singer?
singer? No. Not one really just stands out. Well, no.
Well,
You got any other hobbies besides rodeo? Like you like concerts or play music or do anything like that?
he can surf.
I could surf
Really?
behind the boat at the lake. Have never done it at the ocean. That would be pretty cool though.
That
But
is pretty neat.
yeah, I mean, really just during the summertime it's going to the lake, but during any of the other seasons when it's too cold to get in the water anywhere, working, trying to.
Yeah.
Try not to stay lazy. I have a problem with that. I get pretty lazy sometimes. I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
But really just hanging out with my friends. I like backroading, like on side-by-sides and everything. That's always a good time. But not a whole lot to do around these parts of Texas.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, not
not at all.
any big cities, not too much to go and
No.
see.
Unless you go to Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And I
a
don't
solid
like going to
2-hour
Dallas.
drive.
And then who liked the traffic there?
Exactly.
Well, I think
Say
all
that's
the
about
questions
it.
I got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all got
Well,
anything else?
No.
All right.
Well,
Well-
I enjoyed talking with y'all. It was
Yeah.
fun.
It's very
Yeah.
nice.
Thank you for coming.
Yep. No problem.
That's gonna do it at the La Pointer Podcast with Dylan Ouzts. Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't forget, like and subscribe.